Good morning all, this is Jack from Charting the Markets, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of Tuesday, the 9th of June. My disclaimer, I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing and learn from it, transfer trend charts. I'm not here to issue trading signals. This is a video for paying subscribers at chartingthemarkets.substack.com, and it's published on YouTube after a delay of 24 hours. All right, great. Let's have a look at the ES chart where we may be forming a head and shoulders here, and quite a nice one. Doesn't look quite as nice on SPX, and I would say it does look like it wants to go a bit higher here. Now this brings us to a slight issue, which is that we've been following the historical leans for all for this period where we've got a significant historical lean every day. We had one every day last week. They delivered every day last week. Yesterday was bullish, but today is bearish and tomorrow is bearish, and then Thursday and Friday are bullish. So that brings us to the end of, well, actually, no, Monday brings us to the end of this historical lean period, because we've got no particular leans next week, although it is a holiday week, apart from Monday, which is bullish. So we will see. But I got to say, looking at the pattern, looking at the setup here, I'm kind of leaning towards it closing up today and heading up towards this this target here in the 75.50 area. So to make an ideal right shoulder high, we will see. If that's the case, then we might see a retest of the high on NQ. We'll see how that goes. This could also be forming a head and shoulders, of course, but it could probably use another day to mature if it is doing so. No obvious topping pattern on RTY. If we are forming a topping pattern here, I'd be leaning towards seeing a retest of the high. On YM, could be forming a head and shoulders here. Not a particularly nice one, though, got to say. DAX still kind of looks like a bull flag. ESDX doesn't just look like a bull flag. It looks like a bull flag that's broken up to towards a retest of the high, which is pretty close. And Nikkei, I've drawn in a possible head and shoulders forming here too. Again, that would probably ideally go a little higher up into about the 66,600 area. We'll see how that goes today. But in terms of historical leans, that's significantly bearish for today and tomorrow. I'm slightly skeptical about that delivering today, maybe tomorrow. We shall see. All right, looking at the ES daily chart, we've almost made it back to the back test of the daily middle band. This obviously tends to be an important test. When we have seen a significant breakdown, the back test of the daily middle band is where we tell us where it tells us whether we might see further downside or whether we're going to go back to a retest of the high. On SPX, again, got pretty close to a test of the daily middle band, but didn't quite make it. We have got daily RSI 14 sell signals fixed on SPX, on the Qs, on Dia, and I think on IWM as well. And we made all the RSI 5 sell signal targets. In terms of the hourly chart, no current divergence, but if we saw a retest of this low, we could set up a possible RSI 14 buy signal on the hourly chart, and also a little double bottom here, which could of course take us higher. So in terms of the 15-minute chart, we've got an RSI 14 buy signal fixed and the RSI 5 buy signal made target yesterday. Looking at the Qs, we made it back to the daily middle band 2 back test yesterday. So this would seem an obvious area for a fail. Not really seeing a particularly nice double top here, and it looks as though it could use another day of consolidation just to make the right shoulder look a little more credible. But I wouldn't describe this as a high quality head and shoulder pattern at the moment. No divergence on the hourly chart. We've got a weak RSI 14 buy signal fixed on the 15-minute chart, and the RSI 5 buy signal made target, of course. In terms of Dia, never made it back. This was the strongest before that last decline, and this never made it back. Never made it below the daily middle band, and it hasn't made it to the rising wedge support either. We've still got a weak RSI 5 sell signal fixed. We've got an RSI 14 sell signal fixed as well now. On the hourly chart, we've still got an RSI 14 sell signal fixed, and we're getting pretty close to the rising wedge support, which I'm thinking might get a test today. In terms of the 15-minute chart, no current divergence on either, and no particular prospect of getting any. In terms of the IWM chart, hang on, bear with me a moment. Right, IWM, we've got an RSI 14 sell signal fixed as well. Nothing on the RSI 5. We came back up and tested the daily middle band yesterday, and that's at 284.92, and we closed very slightly below it. So both the Qs and IWM back tested the daily middle band yesterday. In terms of the hourly chart, no current divergence. In terms of the 15-minute chart, we've got an RSI 14 buy signal, which is fixed here and not yet made target. And we had the RSI 5 buy signal made target yesterday on the bounce. On DAX, I'm still wondering about a possible test of the high, but got to say this move down here was a significant break below the daily middle band, so it'll need to break back above that. On Nikkei, we could be forming a head and shoulders here, and that wouldn't actually look bad, but it would need another day of bouncing and to go significantly higher to be a decent looking pattern. All right, great. Let's have a look at DX, where the the 60-minute sell signal made target. This could be a bull flag forming. Looking at the other currencies, I had a buy signal on Euro, which made target. I had a buy signal on GBP, which made target. USD/JPY has made the first of these double bottom targets, or at least got very close to it. But I'm really expecting to see a retest this high here at 160.75. As I mentioned yesterday, the every time this gets up to high enough, because this is basically when yen gets low enough, because this is obviously inverse to JPY. So when this gets high enough, the Bank of Japan has been intervening. It's spent $78 billion intervening so far, and it may well intervene again. So not seen that so far, but you can see some big spikes down when it has intervened in the past. So we'll see how that goes. USD CAD, I've got a very nice looking rising megaphone here. The obvious next target within the megaphone, of course, would be megaphone support, which I've got currently at about the 1.3845 area. We've got a little level top, which is starting to break down. So this is suggesting we see some more downside on DX. Australian dollar, we've got a head and shoulders, which has broken down, and we are consolidating, which we often do after a break. And NZ, we've got a double top, which has broken down, and obviously that's consolidating as well. Looking at ZB, we've got a double top, which has broken down. 60-minute buy signal that's fixed, so we're seeing a bit of a rally. ZN, I'm watching particularly because this has got a head and shoulders, and if we see a break up over, I think probably about the 109.25 area, then that head and shoulders would fail. No sign of that happening so far. 60-minute buy signal is just delivering a consolidation so far. Right, in terms of the inverted head and shoulders on Brent crude and heating oil, we'd had the ones on Brent and light crude broke down and failed on Friday, and that normally would lead us towards a retest of this low. I'm thinking we might see a rally this morning because we've got an RSI, we've got a 15-minute buy signal fixed, but I am thinking we've got a pretty good chance of making it back to that retest, which on coil would be in the 90 area. In CL, that would be in the 86.5 area, I think. But at the moment, we're making lower lows here. Could this be a bull flag for me setting up a move to the upside? Yes, but that wouldn't be the higher probability option generally. HO, this head and shoulders survived on Friday and failed yesterday. Well, tonight, overnight really. But this, again, I'm wondering about a retest to low, which I've gotten about 3.44 area. On RBOB, not really doing the same as the others. Possible bottoming action, possible bear flag forming. NG, we had a 60-minute buy signal, hasn't quite made target. Overall, I'm kind of leaning towards the downside here as and when this little rally has played out. GC, I think we've come down far enough that I think the obvious next target is a retest of this March low. In about the 41.60 area. So I'm thinking we're seeing a bit of a rally here. We may well head down to that afterwards. SI, again, I'm wondering about the retest, and I've got that in about the 61.3 area. After we've delivered a bit more of a rally in all probability on palladium. This has come low enough, and I've got some targets on the bigger picture. Let's just have a quick look at those. And wait a second. This is the 15-minute buy signal on Brent. So I'm leaning towards seeing a bit more of a rally here, but afterwards I'm leaning towards seeing a retest of the low. All right, let's have a quick look at the precious metals charts. So bear with me a moment. I was drawing in some patterns on palladium and platinum, and I'm wondering if those have made their trend line targets. All right, platinum. Not quite. Palladium has made it and gone slightly through it. These are the obvious support trend lines if we are going to see lower. Got to say though, there's a pretty good case for gold and silver going low, so I'm not sure those would hold. All right, let's have a look at the pattern chart. Got a bit lower, not reached that trend line yet. HG, nice looking on the spot chart. We actually did a full retest the high, even if we didn't quite manage that on the futures. So I'm treating that as a nested double top and thinking that we may start seeing that play out to the downside soon. In KC, we've got a looks like a possible bear flag forming here. Having got down this far, there's no particular reason to think this is going to see any kind of a decent rally as yet. On sugar, I'm still wondering about possible retest of this low. On CC, I'm still wondering about a possible move to the head and shoulder target in the 35.19 area. In terms of lumber, we've got a possible 60-minute sell signal brewing, and that's trying to fix at the moment. That may well fix today. We're reaching the top of what could be a triangle, a consolidation triangle setup, which of course would lean bearish overall. CT, possible bull flag forming. ZW, possible bull flag breaking up. 60-minute buy signal has reached the possible near miss target. Corn, 60-minute buy signal is close to the possible near miss target. On soy, 60-minute buy signal is fixed. ZL, we're retracing a bit. We've got a possible head and shoulders forming here. Ideal right shoulder high would be in about 77 area. On live cattle, the head and shoulders formed and then failed. So I'm leaning towards a move soon to go back and retest the high. And lean hogs, we've now got a potential double bottom set up, about the third, I think we've seen. So I'm wondering about a possible rally here. We've got a 60-minute buy signal fixed, but it really hasn't delivered anything yet. All right, great. Well, we've got no questions. Everyone take care. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. All right, cheers.